Welcome back, everyone. Great to be with you. Today we have um, great support in our study. Of course, today is the seventh day of Adar of Pisces, which means we have the additional support of the great soul of Moshe Rabeinu, Moses. We know that when a soul leaves this world, they the day that they leave is a portal, is a window to in time to connect to all of their light and their consciousness. And we know Moses being the person who reached the highest state of consciousness. It says that his burial place is not known to us because if we knew it, it would be anyone who went there to pray in his merit, anyone who went to visit the resting place of Moses, it would uh, it would be like this unfair advantage, right? Anything you ever asked for, it would be such an open portal that it would remove the ability to actually have free will. It would bypass the laws of this world because Moses' light was so powerful, so revealed, so accessible that it would defy the structure we have in this world. And not to say that other tzaddikim and other resting places are not incredibly powerful as well, but specifically Moses, the unique soul that he had, his resting place could not remain revealed to us, could not be known to humanity because it wouldn't work. So this just gives us a little a little understanding of the great soul of Moses that's available today. And we don't need to go to some place to visit. We don't need anything physical to connect to his great soul. The truth is, the light of the Zohar is the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is the light of Moses. So every day we connect to the Zohar, we're connecting to Moses' great light. And there's many things that we can draw from a connection to Moshe Rabbeinu's soul. Uh, for me, the simple care that Moses had for others, which was the secret to his greatness, secret to his leadership, his care and humility, is what made Moses so great. Moses was the most humble, and therefore he reached the highest level. So a lot of us think that greatness comes from acting great or thinking we're great, or um, our ego likes to convince us that the ego will make us great. Moses teaches us exactly the opposite. The lower your ego is, the less ego you have, the more the light of your soul can shine. So as we begin our study, we're meditating that through this study, it helps us connect to that great light of Moses' soul, to awaken that consciousness within us. So let's meditate that through this study, we're connecting to the tree of life. We are awakening more love within ourselves and others, and we'll read the prayer of the Ari to open up our hearts once again to connect also to the soul of Moses. Ribbon ha'olamim, right? It also says that Moses, if you looked at him uh, based on astrology or palm and face reading, you would see that Moses is was the most negative person in the world. He had the traits of every negative person, and um, it has to do with what we're studying today. That his the fact that he had all the worst traits and he overcame them is what gave him his his uh, his great light. We think that the worst of us are things that we need to change and they're bad, but actually transforming them are really our superpower. They're actually our secret weapon to reveal our soul. So Moses was as great as he was because he overcame all of his limited traits. Here we go. ריבון העולמים ואדוני האדונים, אב אנחנו מסליחות מלבנך, לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולעבדנו בקידה ובשלך ושקרבתנו לתורתך ולעבודתך. עבודת הקודש ונתת לנו חלק בסודות תורתך הקדושה, מה חיינו אשר עשית עמנו חסד גדול כזה. על כן אנחנו מפליגים לך לפניך שבמחוב תסלח לכל חטאותינו ועוונותינו, ואל יהיו עוונותינו מפליגים בינינו לבניך, וכן יהי זמנך אדוני עלינו ולבתנו, שתכונן את לבבנו ליראתך ולאהבתך, ותקשיב אוזנך לדברים אלה, ותפתח לבבינו הערה בסודות תורתך, ויהיה לזה נחת לפני חסך ותך כך ניחוח, ותציל עלינו עומק כל נשמתנו בכל בחינתנו, ושניצוצות עבדיך הקדושים, אשר ידם גילית את דבריך אלה בעולם, זכותם וזכות אבותם וזכות אבותם וזכותם, יעמוד לנו ונקשר בדברם, אלה זכותם תאיר עינינו במה שאנו עובדים. כמאמר אם זה מהירות ישראל גל עיניו ויביט את נכלו מתורתך, כי אדוני ייתן חוכמה מפיו דעת ותבונה, יהיו לו צונים מפיו והגן מלפניך, אדוני בגואלי. So we're on the last paragraph of chapter 3, paragraph 36. And we've been discussing suffering, pain. Why do we go through pain? How does pain help us transform? How does pain help us with our tikkun process? And the Zohar has explained, and Rav Ashlag, with his beautiful commentary, explained a lot as well, how the attachment we have to the left column, selfishness that we have, our selfish nature, our ego, is what separates us from the light. And our work in this world is to connect to the central column, to connect to the right column, right? To really create the central column. Our natural inkling is selfishness, is desire to receive the self alone, is opponent, is evil inclination. Therefore, and that's true to everyone. Some people, yes, maybe they're a little more generous, maybe they're a little, more kind, but in general, we all have an attachment to the left column. And our work in this world, and it only can be done in this world, is to transform our desire to receive for the self alone into one of sharing. Is to transform from being selfish to learning how to share, from coming from my ego to learn how to come from my soul. And that's what challenges are. Negativity around me awakens me to the negativity within me. Only when I'm awakened to the negativity within me can I actually change it. So that's one of the things Zohar is explaining, is that the suffering, the pain that people go through is to awaken them to what they need to change within them. They have an opportunity to overcome the addiction of temporary comfort of the body, overcome the uncertainty, everything that is drawn from selfishness, from the left column. And we explained a lot more. There's more to explain from here from Rav Ashlag's commentary, but we will also come into it next chapter. So we're going to leave it at what we said yesterday, and we're going to go into the last paragraph here where Rabbi Elazar explains. Paragraph 36. Rabbi Elazar says, and here Rav Ashlag is saying, that Rabbi Elazar is not coming to answer those two questions we had yesterday about if a person goes through suffering, then they're in a state of sadness and therefore they're not in affinity with the light, they can't receive the light. And then the second question was why we see that some tzaddikim go through more, some go through less suffering. What's the difference? Why do some go through suffering? Why do some not? So Rabbi Elazar is not coming to answer this question here, but he's coming to give another explanation for why tzaddikim experience pain. So he says, Kol mada avikut everything the Creator does, bedina ihu, it's all with justice. It's all according to the laws of cause and effect. It's all from a place of truth. Begin ledaka'ai lehi nafsha, in order to purify that soul, the nefesh of the person. The nefesh represents the lowest aspect of the soul of the person. In order to bring the soul to the world to come, which means, like we said many times, world to come represents the spiritual blessings, represents the flawless universe, represents the tree of life, represents bina, represents goodness, not just on a physical, but on a spiritual level, which is true goodness. Dechol ovadoi dekutch b'richu, inun b'dina ukshot. Because all the actions of the Creator, everything the Creator does, is with justice and with truth. Uvegin la'avara minei hauzoma. And in order to purify us, to remove the negativity from the soul, selfishness, the lack, the kabbalah b'ha'alma that it receives in this world. Ve'ada itava ha'ugufa ve'it de chiyat nafsha. Therefore, the body, or as we've been explaining, the body consciousness is broken, and that's what helps purify the soul. Uvegin kach, and therefore, kuchbrichu aved lahu zakah. Therefore, the Creator causes for that righteous person to experience pain and suffering and hardship in this world. For him to be cleansed of everything and to merit the world to come. So let's pause for a second and let's apply this to our lives. And let's think of it in a less extreme way. As we've said before, what are the challenges that I experience? As I mentioned, the Rav says the first thing we need to know when really starting to understand spirituality and the soul is that in this reality we are limited. We are limited by our senses. We are limited by our perception of this world. Our ego makes this world seem so real, but we're living in a world of illusion. And I believe this illusion. I believe in the illusion of lack. I believe in the illusion of selfishness. I believe in the illusion of manipulation. I believe in the illusion of reactivity. And as long as that reality or that illusion is real to me, I'm disconnected from the light. And if I'm disconnected from the light, then I can't receive from the light. And if I can't receive from the light, then the Creator can't share with me. And if the Creator can't share with me, if the Creator can't bless me, then I'm not fulfilling the purpose of creation. The purpose of creation is to receive everything the Creator wants to give us. The Creator created the created beings to receive the Creator's goodness, to bestow goodness upon His created beings. That's what the Kabbalists teach. So, how can I receive the Creator's endless light? I need to actually change. I need to change from, and in the next chapter, we'll understand why that change is necessary. And for those of us who've taken Kabbalah 1, we've already begun to understand this. By the way, there are, I think, many people who are joining our daily classes who haven't studied with the center yet. If you haven't done Kabbalah 1, we have in person in different centers, different cities, and we have online classes, online Kabbalah 1, which, a lot of what we say will make a lot more sense when you understand, because I'm speaking in a way that I'm assuming everyone has done Kabbalah 1, but if you haven't, then reach out and we'll happily get you the details of how you can do Kabbalah 1, because everything will make a lot more sense. You'll understand a lot more. And this will be much deeper for you, even deeper. So the Zohar says that the Creator has to come and break the body consciousness, break the illusion in order to purify the soul, in order for the soul to be able to receive everything the Creator wants. So what are the challenges that we go through? It's not talking about, you see, the Zohar here is not talking about punishment. The challenges we go through are not punishment. The challenges we go through are a cleansing process. The challenges we go through are to help break our attachment to the illusion of this world. And therefore it says, Hashem Tzadik Yivchan. It says that the Creator tries or tests the righteous. And listen to the rest of the verse. V'rasha ve'ohev chamas, sana nafsho. But the wicked Who loves injustice, the Creator hates them. How can the Creator hate anyone? But of course, we know it just means this, lack of affinity with them. But it's interesting, right? The Creator hates those or is not in affinity with those who are negative. But what does the Creator do for those that the Creator loves? The Creator tests them. The Creator puts them to the test. The Creator puts them through the challenges because that's the Creator's love. That's the Creator's a way for us to be able to receive by and why do we have to go through a test? Because we have to change on our own. The Creator cannot give us anything. There is no coercion in spirituality. The Creator cannot give us blessings that we are not ready to receive. We have to prepare ourselves. We have to ready ourselves to receive those blessings, and that happens by transforming our desire to receive the self alone into one of sharing, by breaking free of the illusions of this world. Uh, Surely that's why it says that the Creator tests the righteous, the Haitma, and we've already learned this. So this is Rabbi Lazar's explanation for why we go through challenges. And now we go to chapter 4. In chapter 4, the Zohar will now go through, and I haven't had the time to really study all of this in great depth. I've tried. It's very detailed and very deep, this next chapter. Um, and it's not that we can't understand it. It's just there's a lot of technical terms that Rav Shimon uses, and to fit it all together and to make it kind of understandable, I haven't managed to do that yet. But we'll go through it slowly, and we'll try and get the most we can out of it. I don't think we'll finish this chapter today, but tomorrow hopefully. So. Only he shall not go into the veil. This is discussing the structure of the tabernacle or the temple. And we'll see. So now this is Rabbi Shimon's revelation, paragraph 37. Rabbi Shimon Patach, and this is one of the most important phrases in the Zohar, where it says Rabbi Shimon opens. It means that Rabbi Shimon is not just opening a discussion. Rabbi Shimon is opening you and I, opening the universe to receive this wisdom, to receive this light, opening our hearts, helping us actually go through our changes that we need. He quotes the verse, why is it quoting it differently? Maybe it's a different verse. I don't know. So this is Leviticus 21, verse 23, possibly. It says, he shall not enter behind the curtain. So there's in this this is I think this is in the portion of Emor. I don't remember which portion it's in offhand, but it's speaking about the Kohanim, the priests, and there were certain impurities that disqualified them from entering into certain places in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, or in the temple. And after listing a bunch, then it says, after listing a bunch of mum is like a different defect that a person can have physically, because the Kabbalists teach that physical lack represents spiritual lack. So if any of the Kohanim had any physical lack, it's because it represented a spiritual lack in their consciousness and it manifested in this world. So based on certain defects or lack that they had physically, emotionally, spiritually, then they wouldn't be able to enter certain places, not because the Creator doesn't want them to come, because it would just be they don't have a vessel to receive it. So it says that they shouldn't enter. They shouldn't enter behind the curtain. The curtain represents there was a curtain between. The truth is, I'm not sure if it's this curtain because this is the curtain to the Holy of Holies. And only the high priest would go there. So maybe it's talking about a different curtain. Maybe it's the one that goes into the holy. I'm not sure. But it says they shouldn't go behind the curtain. And here the Zohar is going to explain a bit about this concept of the curtain. So it says, Rabbi Shimon continues, Tachazeh, come and see. B'ahishatadahu nagd nagv nafik. Ape kol inu nishmatin. So we're going back to the way souls come into this world. At the time when this river flows and comes forth from, Rav Ashlag adds, from Eden, which is the Yesod, Ape kol inu nishmatin. It brings forth souls, all the souls that come with it. V'it'avarat nukva. And the nukva, the malchut, the feminine aspect, becomes pregnant, conceives of these souls. Kulu kaimin the go. They all exist within. Bekuta dilgo bisito kulta. A room within a room where, so basically imagine there's one room surrounded by, here it says like wallpaper or carpets or tapestries, and then there's another room around it. So there's a room within the room, and between the two rooms there is a covering, there is some sort of curtain or fabric, tapestry, wallpaper, something. So now Rav Ashlag has explanation about this. He says, every sphira of the nukva of the malchut includes within it three levels, three vessels that are called external, middle, and inner. And because of time, I haven't had a chance to make physical diagrams and all this, but we'll go slow. So there are always three levels within every sphira of the nukva. There is the outer, external level, there is the middle, and then there is the internal level. Now, each of these levels represent a different sphira, a different level. So I think I have this. Okay, good. So the external level is the nukva itself. That represents the level of the nukva herself. The inner level, the middle, is the aspect of Zeir Anpin. And the innermost level is the level of Bina. So you have, it's sfirot of nukva. So the external is nukva. Then the nukva is like the malchut. Then there's Zeir Anpin. Then there's Bina. And Rav Shimon says, so the light that's received is always dependent on the level that is relevant to that light. So what is this room within a room with the tapestry or with the carpets or the wallpaper? It represents these different vessels. There's the room, which is like the malchut. Within it is the carpets or the tapestries, which is like Zeir Anpin. And then there is the final room, which is Bina. Since the souls, where do souls come from? While the Zohar was speaking how the souls go through Yesod to the Nukva, through the flowing river, as the Zohar said, what's the source of the flowing river? Is Bina. So just to recap for where do souls in our world come from? Where does all the light in our world come from? It comes from the supernal feminine side called the nukva. Nukva means female. So Zeir Anpin and nukva represent the supernal male and female, that when they come together, then their children, there is the light that's revealed in this world. So, and then they receive their light from a higher level. So for light, for our souls, for anything to manifest in the world, it has to come through these levels. But what is the source? Is Bina. So, going back to what Rav Ashlag says, since the souls are really the light of Bina, therefore the Nukva receives within her inner vessel. Right? So as we said, there are three vessels, the three layers of the vessel. The outer, middle, and inner. And the light, depending on the source of the light, that is where that vessel receives it. So because the source of the souls is Binah, then it's received within the innermost vessel of the Nukva, which is Binah. I hope I'm making this clear enough. I wish I had just imagine circles, let's say, right? So the whatever light is being revealed is going to go to that aspect of the vessel. So the aspect of the light of Binah is going to go to the aspect of the vessel, the Binah aspect of the vessel, which is the innermost. So what the Zohar is calling the middle vessel, that's like the clothing, that's like the tapestries or carpets or wallpaper, as we said, around the house, around the room. Okay, so now we're differentiating between two things. There are rooms, and there's the outer room and the inner room, and then between those rooms, there's the carpets or the tapestries. The rooms are female vessels. Vessels or rooms or vessels or houses is always female. So Bina and Nukva are both female. And then the clothing, the tapestry, the wallpaper is Zerampin. That's the male. So the inner vessel is drawn from Zerampin, which is just the clothing for the house. So this is what Rav Shimon explained so far for paragraph 37. Let's go to paragraph 38. And when the moon is lacking, when it is defective, when it is in a state of lack, from the aspect of the evil serpent, and Rav Shimon will explain all this. Therefore, all the souls that emerge at that time, even though the souls themselves are pure, and they are holy, but since they come down into, right, their source is pure from Bina, but they come down into filthy vessels. They come down in a time of lack. All these places, meaning the bodies that the souls arrive to, they're not pure light like the soul is. Kulu itavu, they are broken. Pigimu bechama tsarin, and they suffer many types of pain. Chama ke'evin, different kinds of challenges and afflictions. And those are the ones that the Creator desires and loves so much. Once they are broken, once the consciousness of the body is broken, and even though the soul is in a state of sadness and not happiness because of the challenges it's going through. So now here Rav Shimon has a very long commentary to explain this paragraph. I'm going to try and get through as much of it as possible before our time ends. Let's see what we can do. So he says, there are two types of lack the Nukva experiences. One is the one we spoke about before, when the Nukva is attached to the left column. That's what's called the darkness of Ima. We spoke about this in paragraph 32. When the moon goes through different cycles, right? When it's in a time of lack. That's what we spoke about from the ancient books. That's one aspect of the deficiency or lack in the Malchut. The second one now, the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon revealed and is explaining a second type of lack. The second one is caused by what's called the serpent from the Garden of Eden, the serpent from the tree of knowledge, the fall of the tree of knowledge. It represents the lack that exists in the realm of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. What is the lack that we live in our world is the reality of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It represents the aspect of judgment that the Malchut experiences from the first Tzimtzum, which means it cannot receive light. It's not fit to receive light and blessings. And that's a choice, right? When you choose the reality of good and evil, It means that I basically shut myself off from receiving the light. If I make the proactive choice, then I can receive light. If I make the reactive choice, I block myself from light. So these two types of lack that the Malchut experiences, the Zohar here is now talking about the second one. So when the Zohar says that the moon is in a state of lack in the beginning of the paragraph, it represents the aspect of the lack in the Malchut herself, that she cannot receive the light because of the negativity of the serpent. But this lack does not actually affect the soul, because the soul comes from Bina. The lack just affects the nukva, just affects the malchut, just affects the external vessel. The souls that come from Bina, there is no tzimtzum, there is no restriction on the light that's received there. Nevertheless, when the souls come into from Bina down into the nukva, into the malchut, then they are also under the conditions of that lack. Okay, I'll skip a little bit. I'll read from okay. So because they are these souls come into the nukva, into the body, then they also become, it's like, imagine our souls are so perfect. Our souls are pure light. But once our souls come into this physical world, then we have tikkun. Then we have work to do. Then we have lack. Then we have, right? A pure soul is pure light. But once it comes into this world, then there's the work that it has to do. Even if you are a righteous person, a tzaddik, nevertheless, nifgam gufo mepat ota neshama shenidla b'shabo. Because of the tikkun process, then the body and the soul come with deficiency, with necessary correction. Now Rav Asher goes deeper. How can you say that the soul, because that's what the Zohar is saying. The Zohar is saying that as our soul comes into the world, our soul impurifies the body. Our soul creates lack in the body. How can the soul that is pure light create deficiency and lack in the body? It doesn't make sense. We would say that our body makes the soul impure. Why is the Zohar saying that the soul makes the body impure? העניין הוא שהוא תיקון מיוחד בשביל הצדיק שעל ידי תיקון זה נעשה גופו של הצדיק מוכשר לקבל אורה גדול של הנשמה. So the Zohar says this is something unique that happens for the perfection, the correction of the tzaddik in order to receive the endless light. How does it work? The Zohar brings a concept, and I know we're out of time, but the Zohar brings in a concept of what's called the mother lends her vessels to her daughter. We learned about this in the prologue of the Zohar. This is a concept that Kabbalists speak a lot about. How, in order for Malchut to be able to receive, Malchut elevates to Binah, and Malchut who has no vessel, receives the clothing, the vessels of Binah. But as Binah lends, as the mother lends her vessels to her daughter, she has to lower herself. So the mother has to lower herself to the level of the Malchut, and the Malchut, and then Malchut takes on the vessels of Binah, which is in a lower state, but then it elevates to a higher state to receive the full vessel of Binah, which is able to receive everything. So what happens is there has to be a state of katnut, of smallness. There has to be vessels of smallness. And then once the vessels of smallness exist, then the vessels of greatness can be filled. I'm oversimplifying this, but we are out of time. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to finish this explanation. But that's basically the idea, that the soul, which is pure light, has to bring down with it a state of diminishment to the body, so that the body can go through a transformation process from katnut, from smallness to greatness, to be able to receive the endless light. Hopefully tomorrow we'll manage to explain more of this, but we'll stop here and we'll continue tomorrow. Take advantage of this day. If you haven't lit a candle yet, light a candle to connect to the soul of Moses. Moshe Rabeinu, and I will see you guys tomorrow. For those who are interested, today I'm doing a class on Purim. We'll explain about the consciousness of Purim. It'll be live streamed on Kabbalah.com. It's with the weekly breakthrough that London does every Tuesday. For those in London, love to see you in person. 7 o'clock tonight, 7 o'clock London time, in person or on Kabbalah live stream. Lots of love, everyone. Have an amazing day. See you soon. Chag Sameach.